Shalom, following Yahshua. Welcome again to the Rock. Are we done yet? That's my question. Are we done yet? Biden is now the president of the United States of America. Can we focus on real things now? Please? And for all those that kept saying things like, because I had already said it doesn't matter to me. I don't vote. And a lot more people are now saying, well, I'm not voting ever again either. No, that's not why. I'm not voting. The reason why I don't vote is not because, what happened with the election. I've never voted, even before the election. But all those that kept saying things like, Trump's got one more thing up his sleeve. You don't understand. He's going to be president. See what happens? Emotions. Presidents are selected, not elected. I guess for some people, in time they find out, in reality, for one reason or another, their vote doesn't count. But also, that one more thing that Trump had up his sleeve, he did have one more thing up his sleeve. He pardoned Lil Wayne, and Steve Bannon, was it Kodak Black, and others. This is why I don't get caught up in politics. Because the real question is now that Biden is president, what are you going to do about it? Now what? Now what? You see, for myself, I continue on the same path that I have always been on. But for others, they are now forced with the idea that they're going to have to make serious changes in their life. Some people are saying, well, we have to get prepared for communism or socialism. Or now I'm looking for land because the cities are going to be a war zone. But why did it take all the way up for this to happen, for Biden to become president, for you to make those moves? This is what happens when people place their trust in a man to change what cannot be changed. Nobody's going to drain the swamp. Nobody's going to do any of those things. The only person who has the ability to affect change in your life is you. Not somebody else, you. These laws that Biden is going to pass were always going to be passed. They were always going to happen. We should have been prepared for this well before Trump became president or Biden became president. And our hope should have always relied on the wisdom of the Most High Yah and what He shows us and His paths, or He should have always been directing our path, not relying on somebody else. People are having, and I'm not going to sit here and it's their fault or it's their fault. I'm saying people who got caught up in this game, many people's lives have been or are being ruined. People are looking at serious time. People have lost their careers over the emotion that came along with this wild ride called the election. People are now in extremely bad situations. It almost seemed like every time something that could cause conflict in this country comes up, people almost get excited by it because it's finally the opportunity for them, in their minds, to pull out their guns, to pull out their preps, and to play soldier, to play I'm in the army. People fantasizing about civil war. I don't. I strived as much as I could to get my family away from what I lived daily, what we lived daily, which was civil war. It's called the hood. It's called the streets. And civil war would be worse, way worse than that. Nothing like having your morning start off with some gunfire, ambulances. Somebody got smoked. Somebody got shot. Somebody got shot at. Bullet holes in walls. Cars broken into. You weren't even safe in your own house. And people are fantasizing about a civil war. Just go into some of these areas. Go to Chicago if you're so interested in the fantasy of civil war. Go to Chicago and stay there for a week. St. Louis, San Diego, LA, Houston. Go to these areas if you're so interested in civil war. See, I've always been interested in peace. Peace until there is no more peace. Peace until, and I try to follow peace with all men, until people force me not to. But until then, I practice the art of self-discipline. You can't be a disciple unless you have discipline. And I realize that so many people are looking for a fight because they're angry. And I've realized in my life, just the life that I've lived, many people that went looking for fights never returned from said fight. So now that we have, and it's official, the country has Biden as president. I hope you've got your food storage. I hope you have had your preparedness locked down. I hope your relationship with the Most High Yah has been strong. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, to see him do well the first year or two, to get people to be more complacent. I've even looked at a lot of people who said they were, Trump supporters who flipped sides real quick, especially when it came to the stimulus money. See, our focus should have been the Most High Yah. Our focus should not have been this election. It should have been, why are they distracting us with this election? Why all the theatrics? Why all the soldiers in the streets? Are they normalizing it? Are they normalizing the fact that there's going to be soldiers on the streets? I heard a lot of people in the media say, well, this is what needs to be. We need these soldiers on the streets. And a lot of people were agreeing with them. Yeah, it's these Trump supporters. That's why they're out. That's why we need these soldiers out in the streets. But these people at the same time were the same ones that neglected to think about BLM and all these other different groups that are now suddenly banding together. You see, it just seems to be a continual tug on people's emotions. People have flip sides, they flip-flop, they've in and out, ardent supporters of one group or another suddenly have disappeared. And if you had to just stayed on the path of my ardent support is in the Most High Yah, keeping the commandments of Yah, preparing for my household, having real relationships with real brothers, with brothers that love you, instead of all this hogwash, all this distraction, because at the end of the day, Biden was going to be president. All these people that said he's not going to be president, he's not, it just shows how easy it was to deceive you. It just showed how easy it was to get your emotions caught up in a situation that in reality, you had no way of affecting it. And at the end of the day, everybody's going to lose. Whether you voted Biden, whether you voted Trump, whether you didn't vote, at the end of the day, inflation's still going to skyrocket, food shortages are still coming, businesses are still being locked down. Neither one of these people was going to fix the situation because this is a systemic thing and the powers that be wanted this to happen. They wanted to consolidate the power. And look, they're doing it. They're consolidating power. Wouldn't be surprised if this year, later on this year, suddenly, the same way we are so used to the shelves being empty, wouldn't surprise me if we just don't get used to troops being on the streets, National Guard being on the streets, a heavier police presence on the streets. It's not going to surprise me that all of this stuff was just to normalize the heavy-handed presence of the authority in these cities, in these population centers. All around the world, there's stuff going on. Some countries, I think it was Germany, who said for violators of the zombie plague, if you violate the zombie plague too many times, the orders, or you're out in public too many times, they're going to put you in a detainment camp. Food is still going to be short. China still said that this year they're not exporting their food. They are not exporting it, and they're increasing their imports. China still said that. Many businesses in this country still don't have the ability. And now that Biden is president, so you notice that I don't support either one of them. I don't support either one of them. And do you think that Biden is going to handle this situation good? No. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another shutdown coming down. More jobs, more. The only places that are going to be hiring are your major stores, Kroger's or Walmart and Amazon. Okay, maybe some Piggly Wiggly, Taco Bell, maybe. Places like that. Low-wage jobs. Those are going to be the only things available pretty soon. And people got caught up in all of this mess. And none of it, if the people change, what was going to happen? Your answer is self-sufficiency. Your answer is providing for your family and yourself. Your answer is coming out of her. That was your answer. And if stuff goes down in the cities because of this election a week from now or 2 weeks from now, then hey, it goes down. But the reality of it is, so much attention has been put on what we see, what was presented on the mainstream media. People got all hyped up. They're putting troops on the streets. Civil war's coming. And you know what? It may come. Or was that just their way of normalizing what is about to come? Think about it. Whenever you have these forms of government, socialism, Marxism, fascism, communism, there's always a heavy-handed authority presence. Show me your papers. Show me your pass. Show me your vaccination. Show me your allegiance. You better show me something. That's why the best option is, now that all this stuff is finished, the answer was the same answer it was before. Come out of her, Yah's people. Be ye separate, touch not the unclean thing. He doesn't want you to partake in the sins or receive of the plagues. That's why he told you to come out. Of course, you could stay in. We'll see how that goes. Bless you all. I'm going to get back to finishing the artichokes. Shalom.